What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason and Joe here. It is still Prince Week. If you missed it, we ranked all 40 of Prince's studio albums. Go check that video out if you haven't seen it. Today, like we always do after an album ranking, we are giving our top 10 favorite songs. We're going back and forth, starting with my number 10. All right, number 10 for me, I'm going with Shh from The Gold Experience. This is the only post-80s song on my list. Easily the high point of his 90s output for me. It sounds like a stereotypical slow jam, like when the Roots on Jimmy Fallon do slow jam in the news, it almost sounds like they're covering this song. This is like when you say slow jam, this is exactly what people mean, but it's a great template. You can see why it's been repeated ad infinitum. It's got a great feel to it. Prince rips on it, some great guitar playing, and the drums, which I believe are Michael Bland, just go off like really just like the most intense like gospel crazy drumming you've ever heard. So yeah, great track.
My favorite part of that song, and that's a great song, is at the end when he says, "Sex is not all I think about, it's just all I think about you." That is such a good line. That's an excellent choice. I have a song from that album as well, my number 10, and it is the only song post 80s on my list. It is I Hate You, and it's the song that I've listened to the most over the past 30 days. I just love the way Prince builds the intensity and the drama. This is the one with the courtroom in position. The music just builds and builds and builds and then explodes at the end with a killer, angry guitar solo. And it's just a hilarious but awesome song.
My number 9 is Delirious from 1999. It's the shortest song on 1999. Just a really bouncy pop confection. The synth leads on it are super catchy. But I think what's interesting about it is that, like, at its core, it's really just like a rockabilly song, given like the kind of 80s pop makeover. Yeah, it's just fun, catchy. I dig it. Good hooks.
My number 9 is gonna be Raspberry Beret, which is just a perfect pop song. It's very simple for Prince. It is just straightforward. Great backing by Wendy and Lisa and Susanna on the vocals. It's casual, but really cool. And the part in the barn, that whole bridge is awesome. One of my favorite bridges of all time.
Number 8 for me is Bambi. It's really like the first like serious guitar showcase in his catalog. His tone on this track is just incredible. He just like smokes on the solo, but the vocals are incredible too. He's singing in really high falsetto and getting a little screechy, a nice like rock vocal sound. And yeah, it's just a ripping rock tune.
Number 8 is going to be Mountains from Parade, one of those singles you never hear on the radio. Kiss really dominated. And Mountains, I think it was top 40, but much less of a hit than Kiss was. And it's just one of those effortlessly catchy songs from the 80s that Prince was so good at. Super unique sounding. I don't think anything else from the time period sounded quite like it. I love his vocals, the way he shifts from the falsetto and the lower register. Really infectious beat and just the right amount of horn flourishes. Just another great pop song from Prince.
Number 7 for me, I'm sticking on the self-titled for now. I've got I Want to Be Your Lover. Just incredible disco dance jam. Such a well-produced track. It's interesting going back through and picking songs for my top 10. The production on the early stuff is so good. And comparatively to like the 90s and beyond, yeah, I don't know what happened to his production chops, but not the same. But here, the vocals and where he chooses to double and where he chooses to do harmonies is just impeccable. The comping rhythm guitar throughout the track is awesome. The drum sounds are perfect. Yeah, just a really well put together track.
Prince didn't forget how to produce. He just didn't produce like the 70s outside of the 70s, which I can see why some people might not like his 80s stuff with the very digital production. But yeah, I mean, he was a fantastic producer, produced everything he ever did himself, which is pretty amazing. My number seven is going to be Dirty Mind from Dirty Mind. Just a really great take on disco, that just thumping, steady beat. But it's all mixed in with Prince's influences and his idiosyncrasies. And another great bridge when he kind of gets intense and ratchets up the whole sound. And you just think he's going to lose his damn mind. Love it.
My number six is the title track to Dirty Mind. Love the production on this one too. Really cold and detached and kind of icy, and just great use of minimal elements. There's not a ton going on. That drum machine's really kind of driving it, and kind of sparse guitar and his vocals. And yeah, it's really cool.
Number six, Purple Rain from Purple Rain. Just a tour de force, singing, guitar playing, the build, the anticipation, drenched, everything. If you didn't know, it was supposed to be a country song, and Stevie Nicks was going to be involved writing the lyrics, but she couldn't do it. It's kind of like when Bob Dylan would like hand out his tunes to people, and they're like, oh, I can't do it. Like, you just can't do it. And he was kind of gonna abandon it, but then they were jamming on it, and Wendy was just playing some rock chords, and that's kind of all it took. They worked on it and developed it into the song that you know and love, recorded live with just a little bit of overdubs. And it's only the fourth or fifth best song on Purple Rain, but it's still just a complete masterpiece.
That's my number five also. Well, not also, it's your six. It's my number five. Incredible power ballad, maybe the ultimate like lighters up type of song. Excellent guitar work. The build up and the drop out right before the chorus hits is so effective. 8 minutes 42 seconds, but it could go on forever. It is just epic.
My number five is going to be I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, which is the bubbliest, most guitar-focused pop song on Sign of the Times. It was originally written and recorded in sort of a demo version in 79 and then reworked for Sign of the Times, which totally makes sense considering how it sounds compared to the rest of the album. It's a great pop song, and it has that longer, drawn-out jam session as the coda, and you kind of jamming out. And I just think it's perfect the way the main like poppy riff comes back in at the end. You don't always hear that, a song like Rolling Stones, Can't You Hear Me Knocking? They never come back into that riff. And just having that at the end where you're kind of like hoping it comes back, and then he starts kind of dancing around it, and then it comes back in for one final little flourish. I think it's just a perfect way to end that tune. It's just a perfect tune.
My number four is When You Were Mine. This is kind of like the first time he really showcased his pop rock side. You know, it reminds me of like kind of like AOR power pop of the time, Rick Springfield, stuff like that. I really dig the guitar sound. Almost sounds like it was recorded direct into the board. It's got a unique sound, and up to this point in his career, kind of different than anything he had done previously.
Covered well by Cyndi Lauper on her debut album. She's so unusual. My number four, I'm gonna go with the greatest bassless track in pop music history, When Doves Cry, not Kiss. I'm going with When Doves Cry as the greatest bassless song in pop music history. Prince, they recorded a bass line for it, but when Prince was mixing it, he just thought the bass was getting in the way of the music. So he just, turned it off. He didn't turn it down. He just deleted it from the whole song. And it was a savvy, canny move because it just has a unique iciness without the bass. It's sort of unnatural sounding. It's got some awesome guitar, fierce, some great singing, just the whole package, except for bass.
My number three is Controversy. And I think Prince around this time had kind of a tendency to make overlong dance tracks. And I think this is one instance where it's not too long. It really works. I love all the synth sounds on it. The groove is insane, but the drums aren't really what are driving the groove. Like the drums are pretty straightforward, but the way that the synths and the guitar and bass and everything are interacting with the simple beat is it makes just like this filthy groove. Again, just really cool, funky guitar comping going on throughout the track too. Yeah, really cool song.
All right, number three and two, I couldn't decide this week or this month, however long we've been listening to Prince. I'm gonna go number three, Let's Go Crazy, which totally throws my entire 1984 top 100 songs list deep dive out of whack because it was my favorite on Purple Rain. But there's something that has supplanted it. But Let's Go Crazy. It's got one of the greatest opening, parts in history with that organ, him basically on the pulpit, speaking to the listener. The song rocks. It's, one of the hardest rocking tunes in his catalog. Great guitar work. Prince showing off his Guitar Hero chops, that really crunchy tone. It's got a killer groove. It's a magnificent vocal performance. It has it all. It is a just peerless rock song in his catalog.
My number two is It's Gonna Be Lonely, which another great song, vulnerable lyrics, great vocals, top-notch production. And I think the production on this you can hear really influencing a lot of like modern stuff today. I think partially laid the blueprint for a lot of what Mac DeMarco does. I hear Mac DeMarco borrowing generously from this song, and then I think tons of people now copy Mac DeMarco. So this song has kind of spread throughout modern pop and indie rock stuff. I just love the way it sounds, and yeah, great track.
Well, number two, my new favorite song on Purple Rain, according to this list for today, and I don't know about tomorrow, but for today, I Would Die for You. So much in under 3 minutes. There's something indescribable about this tune, and it's just so much more than the sum of its parts. And the parts are great. I mean, Prince's vocals are incredible. His use of falsetto, those tonsil scraping cries that he does, so like romantic sounding, and the lyrics and the way he's singing really feed into that. I love the synth sounds. There's great backing vocals, but the key is that stuttering, ceaseless drum part that just it gives the song such an urgency to it. It's robotic, but Prince is so human, and it's just great juxtaposition between those two worlds. It's an incredible song. I can't get enough of it.
My number one too. It was the only track from Purple Rain I think that made my top songs of 84 list. Has long been my favorite song from that album. I put it down more to that synth sound though than the drums. That persistent, just like that's like buzzing going on underneath is so awesome. I could listen to just that sound all day. And yeah, I mean, I complain about synths a lot, and I'm not a huge fan of like 80s production and stuff, but this is just it done right. And I think there's a reason like so many, modern bands that are like 80s leaning retro, they use sounds like this with like the sharp buzziness of that synth. That's kind of, what people now use as their like 80s sound, even though a lot of 80s stuff didn't really sound exactly like that. But I mean, it's coming right from here, and I think it's just a killer sound. It's a great song too, but love that synth.
My number one, got to be Little Red Corvette, the song that broke Prince into the mainstream, his first top 10 hit. It is just, the most erotically charged, perfectly written, best sung, pop song, I think, of the 80s. The way it unfolds slowly through the verses, that languid synth line, the drums that sound like distant thunder, then explodes into the chorus. You got those pleading backing vocals from Des Dickerson alongside Lisa Coleman. There's some really great guitar parts by Des Dickerson, surprisingly, not Prince on this one. Great melodic solo from Dickerson, and just one of the best bridges in the history of music. The Girl, You Got an Ass Like I've Never Seen, and the ride is so smooth. You must be a limousine. And just the way Prince sells it, no irony, just totally sincere. It just sounds like so important, so personally affecting, and I think it adds up to a pop song without equals in the history of human civilization. That's it. All it is.
Well, there you go. Those are our favorite Prince songs. Let us know what we missed and what your favorite Prince songs are. If you want to see 140 more of Joe's favorite Prince songs, you can join our Patreon. Are you doing that?
I'll probably release it on this channel. I can't just save it for the
Hmm.
patrons. Everyone must know.
All right. Well, look out for that then. But also join our Patreon. And yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one.